All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody is having a great Monday. Today is Monday, May 5th, commonly known as Cinco de Mayo. So certainly it might be a festive Monday for some of you, and certainly having a wonderful Monday this morning outside. It looks a little cloudy and gloomy today, but certainly not so bad. April showers bring May flowers. So today I just decided to wear a little bit of flowers today, this morning, in hopes that everybody's enjoying what is coming up from the ground. So yesterday, May the 4th be with you. I met up with some fellow female Marines because when we went to boot camp, not now, they closed down, but we went to 4th Battalion, and 4th Battalion in Paris Island was the Marine Corps boot camp for just women. So we were segregated when we went to boot camp with 4th Battalion. Now that everything's integrated, they closed 4th Battalion and moved boot camp to San Diego. But for May the 4th, we always say, May the 4th Battalion be with you. We went and celebrated some breakfast yesterday. But May the 4th is also a little bit of a Star Trek or Star Wars thing. I can't believe I said Star Trek, but I only have half a cup of coffee this morning. So I have my little Star Wars mug. It says protect, attack, take naps. So just to let you know, it's important to get your daily rest and certainly to have a little bit fun in your just fun overall. So little fun guy there. So really appreciate all the movies. They were, I grew up in it. Some of my kids didn't see the older ones, but certainly made them see them. And certainly Star Wars is a lot of fun. Um, but what's happening today? Just giving you a little bit of an update. First and foremost, I think we need to acknowledge and recognize the passing of George Ryan, former Governor George Ryan. George Ryan served as the Illinois governor from 1999 up until 2003, believe it or not. He passed away Friday morning after spending a few days in hospice, according to former House Republican leader Jim Durkin, who I served with. He was a close friend of Ryan's, and they didn't give a cause of death immediately, but he was 91. Um, he talked about how serving time on corruption charges, if you know, he was the former Secretary of State as well, and there was he was convicted with regards to licenses for bribes, and he talked back in 2015 about serving time gives him a new perspective on the criminal justice system. Back at the time, he was quoted as saying, "Justice is supposed to be blind, but the fact is, most people are blind about the justice system. Those who have been there and are coming out of prison wondering what is going on. There are people concerned about what is going to happen to them, and I'm not sure that people care that much." um, so people can say many bad things about him, but he did do quite a few things in the 4 years that he was governor. Um, Certainly his services will be this week, and you can find those online. But folks did comment, and Brad Cole, who's the CEO of the Illinois Municipal League, I've known for 20 years. Um, he he quoted as saying that Governor Ryan was a very good friend of his. This is Brad Cole. He was also fundamentally a good man, and I wish more people knew that about him. He dedicated himself to helping people when others wouldn't, and did so quietly and out of the spotlight. I will always be grateful for our more than 25-year relationship and am comforted that he and Laura Lynn are now together once again. So certainly, former Governor George Ryan, he again passed away, and one of the things that he's well known for was during his time in office, he suspended the death penalty, um, and then we abolished the death penalty, quoting the fact that there were errors in the system. So it was reported that he and his family were recently in Florida, and he started to feel weak. He returned to Illinois, entered hospice care on Thursday, and passed away again on Friday. He served as governor again from 1999 to 2003. He served as the Illinois Secretary of State from 1991 to 1999, lieutenant governor from 1983 to 1991 under Republican James R. Thompson. He was born in Iowa, but raised in Kankakee County. He married Laura Lynn, his high school sweetheart, in 1956, and they had 6 kids together. He began his political career as chairman of the Kankakee County Board before being elected to the House of Representatives to represent the 43rd District in 1973. He was re-elected to the Illinois House 5 times and served as Speaker from 81 to 83. Senate Republican leader John Curran called Ryan a bold leader who wasn't afraid to reach across the aisle and bring people together for the greater good. He had investments in infrastructure, technology, and education to help create a brighter future for Illinois, and those accomplishments would be long remembered. And then certainly we talked, I mean, all the reports are going to talk about the fact when he was Secretary of State's driver's license were given to truck drivers who couldn't pass the tests and couldn't even read the rules of the road, and caused, irresponsible drivers to be on the road and caused deaths. So it eventually sent him to prison in 1994. His office issues these licenses in exchange for bribes, and one of those drivers were involved in a fatal crash that struck a van carrying the family of Reverend Dwayne Scott Willis, his wife Janet, and killed 6 children. So certainly devastating. He had federal corruption, and he was indicted in 22 charges in December 2003. And he was convicted in 2006. So he was allowed to leave prison in 2011 to visit his dying wife, Laura Lynn. She did die 6 months later, and he was again released from prison to be by her side, but then was denied release to attend her funeral. He was formally released from prison in 2013. Certainly, while there was trouble, we certainly will mourn him as well. What I said before is in 2000, he put a moratorium on executions in Illinois after several inmates on death row were found to be wrongfully convicted and commuted the death sentences of more than 160 inmates. Governor Pat Quinn eventually signed a bill that abolished the death penalty in Illinois. So certainly, in 1999, he became the first sitting governor to meet with Cuban President Fidel Castro. That year, he also created Illinois First, a multi-billion-dollar public works program to rebuild roads, schools, and transit. So we will keep the family and the friends of Governor Ryan in our thoughts during the time of his passing, and certainly wanted to, if you didn't know, bring that to your attention. Then moving right along, I just read this morning about, I didn't get into my notes about the former CEO of McPeer and a wonderful lady who passed away recently at age 65, which is really startling, to be quite honest. Because 65 is really quite young, but she was Lori Healy. If you don't know her, that's because she's a behind the scenes person, and she was most recently overseeing the construction of the Obama Presidential Library. She has had various roles at McPeer, formerly known as the Metropolitan Pier and Exposition Authority, Navy Pier area there, and She added arena at the McCormick Place Convention Center, overseeing the development of Block 37 and the plan for transformation that revitalized the city's struggling public housing system. So she also served as Mayor Daley's chief of staff. So she was recalled as a brilliant leader whose tireless spirit and deep commitment to public service set her apart. Major civic developments to international events, her clarity of vision and gift for collaboration made her an essential force in the city's most important achievements. So certainly keep her and her family in thoughts and prayers as well. The state works with people that are in front of the camera, but also works with people that are behind the scenes doing great things as well. So we certainly should keep our friends and family in our thoughts and prayers as well. So with that, moving on to what is May. Happy May. We are in May, the first Monday in May. May is Military Appreciation Month. So each May, we should recognize all my fellow men and women who serve and have served in the armed forces, as I've said many times, and I will continue to repeat, recognizing my son in the Navy and my son-in-law in the Army. So Military Appreciation Month is a powerful reminder that freedom isn't free. And we have a volunteer military. And over the years, I've heard people say some disparaging things about that being a volunteer military, like those individuals can't get a leg up in life, or those individuals, need all the benefits, and really discounting what service is. And my son just wanted to serve the military. So no ifs, ands, buts about it. He wanted to serve our country. And I think that we need to stop downplaying the this notion that folks that volunteer for the military are doing it for some other reason than just service and commitment to our country. My son-in-law is the same way. Service, commitment to our country, and we need to really respect that and continue to talk about that. So Military Appreciation Month. Show a military person that you appreciate them, not just thank them for his service, but actually with actions. Get involved with the local American Legion, get involved with the local military establishment, help military homeless individuals. Go see what you can do, volunteer at Heinz VA. There's a lot you can do to help our military. And certainly May is a good month to do it, and all the other months are to do it as well. The first Thursday in May, and in this case, it was May 1st. It is in statute, and we pay tribute to officers who are killed in the line of duty. So we honor the fallen officers at the Illinois Peace Officers Memorial. Now, this year it was moved inside because they thought the weather would not be conducive. So it was in the Illinois State Library. But we do have an Illinois Peace Officers Memorial, and the names are inscribed on that monument. So there were 9 police officers and 3 canine partners who died in the line of duty in 2024. So certainly it is a solemn event, brings together families and colleagues and state leaders to talk about the ultimate sacrifice made by those who served in our first responders, our police officers. Those honored were Deputy Sheriff Christina Monsil, DeKalb County, Sergeant Andrew Fott, Illinois Department of Corrections, Officer Luis Hesica, Officer James Crowley, Officer Enrique Martinez from the Chicago Police Department, Deputy Sheriff Raphael Woodlaw from the Cook County Corrections, Detective Alan Reddins, Oak Park Police Department, and Trooper Corey Thompson, Trooper Clay Carnes from the Illinois State Police. And for the first time, K-9 officers from Rockford, Lake County, and Alton were also recognized, including K-9 Dex, remembered by Deputy John Forlenza and his son. So certainly it's a moving memorial. And if you go to Springfield, please look at the officer memorial and also the firefighters memorial of the names of those that have served and given the ultimate sacrifice for our safety and our communities. Yesterday, as I mentioned, May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. So I looked on Facebook and a lot of people were celebrating Star Wars Day with lightsabers and costumes and a lot of nostalgia. Believe it or not, it began in 1977 and has been a series of films and a series. So you have, of course, Yoda, The Courage of Princess Leia, and all the stories that continue to inspire individuals today. So certainly it's timeless, and we always pray for a little bit of the Force to be with us as we go through life, because sometimes life can be a little bit challenging, but certainly may the Force be with everybody, and enjoy a little bit of Star Wars marathons. Cinco de Mayo, like I said before. So hopefully people will have a festive Monday. Believe it or not, it commemorates the Battle of Puebla in 1862. And that's when Mexican forces, although they were outnumbered, triumphed over the French army. While often misunderstood as Mexican Independence Day, that's actually Mexican Independence Day is in September. This moment just symbolizes resistance, national pride, and unity in the face of adversity. So certainly we can celebrate Cinco de Mayo and educate ourselves a little bit more about Mexican heritage. And then May 5th is Museum Lovers Day. Now, who doesn't love the museum? I really adore going to the museums. My kids, sometimes not so much, but it depends on what kind of museum becomes what kind of person. So whether it's art galleries, the dinosaur exhibits at the Field Museum, or even right here, we have some local historical archives here at the Aurora Historical Society and the Naperville Historical Society. Today is Museum Lovers Day. So you have a holiday. So what does it do? It encourages us to support the institutions that educate, inspire, and connect us to the past and the present. Whether you're revisiting the favorite collection, like I love going to the Art Institute downtown. I got my favorite collections there that I always look at every single day. And or going to a new museum, it's important. Now, if you sign up to our newsletter, you will know that residents of the 84th district get museum passes. So our office gets an allotment of museum passes. And if you and your family are going to a museum, please contact my office. You can fill out the form on our website as well, and sign up for our newsletter. And there will be a link in the e-newsletter that we send out every Friday to keep you updated as well. So certainly, we want to make sure that not only on May 5th, but every day that you enjoy the museums that we have to offer in Chicago. And when we can work on something on Springfield too, if you decide to go down to Springfield. Certainly that's a good time. Military Spouse Appreciation Day, May 9th, my daughter's day. She's a military spouse, and we need to show our appreciation. And it's not easy. It's not easy when your loved one's serving overseas, potentially in dangerous areas where you can't contact them. I haven't contacted my son in a couple months. He's been off the grid. So it certainly gives challenges, loneliness, and we try to do our best to help and support in our family, but it's really important to help and support throughout. So, definitely reach out to a military spouse that you know, maybe make them a meal or just hang out and see how they're doing. And then finally on Friday, May 9th, working out, as you know, working at the Aurora American Legion, they moved offices. So they're in a new office. The office formerly occupied by Java Plus is now being transformed into the American Legion office. It's still a work in transition, but I want to invite veterans, individuals that want to support veterans, to come on Friday, May 9th. So 8 a.m., 1677 Montgomery Road, right there on the corner of Montgomery and Waterford. So 8 a.m., you come for bagels and coffee, and then they have a small meeting starting at around 9. So you can come for the networking, and then you can stay for the meeting or come for the networking. And if you have to leave, that's perfectly fine. The Veterans Assistance Commissions will be there, both from DuPage County and Kane County. So if you are a military person and you've been meaning to talk to somebody about your benefits, and you don't have the time to drive all the way up to St. Charles or the time to drive all the way into DuPage County by the county fairgrounds, this is the time when they're coming to you. So Friday mornings, they get there around 9:30, 10 o'clock. They're there to about 21677 Montgomery Road, right there, Montgomery and Waterford. It's still a work in progress, but certainly there will be some form of chairs and tables set up. We haven't got final chairs and tables, but working and making sure things are in place, hopefully, in the next couple months. So with that, just a good morning to Bonnie and good morning to Roger. How are you doing, Roger? And Bob Dunn are with us this morning on the Facebook Live in the comment section. So what did I do this weekend? I had kind of a busy weekend. I know that I was in Springfield all week, had an event all day Friday, and then on Saturday was pretty packed as well, but well worth it. So I talked about this before, and I know I'm repeating, but it's important. Sergeant First Class Katsoulias Memorial Highway Dedication. So I've talked about this last year. We passed a resolution out of the House, did not get called in the Senate, but we found another way to honor our fallen heroes. Now, we do have a resolution again that we are going to pass out of the House. Hopefully they pass it out of the Senate. But certainly we want to make sure that the family gets recognized for the ultimate sacrifice of Sergeant First Class Katsoulias. And the family was there. And one of his nephews was there and talked about the uncle he never knew, but heard all about in his childhood. So on Saturday, I joined Senator Karina Villa and my counterpart, Representative Maura Hirschauer, and West Chicago Mayor Robert Pineda to officially dedicate a portion of highway in memory of Sergeant First Class Katsoulias. House Resolution 301, and this is that was last year. This year I believe it's House Resolution 9, but it honors the tribute to his life of duty, his sacrifice, and service to our country. So with that, I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to Bob Patterson, board chair of the Christopher Patterson Memorial Foundation. He lost his son serving overseas, but his son came home. And so Bob Patterson and Rolling Thunder are working to always remember the individuals that gave the ultimate sacrifice and didn't get a chance to come home. So we have a couple others that we are going to do over the summer, but if you drive down that stretch of road, certainly reflect on the freedoms that we enjoy and those that gave so much to defend them. And then also on Saturday, I was honored to be nominated for the 2025 Orchid Award. So this is being recognized by the West Suburban Chicago chapter of Top Ladies of Distinction, Inc., and it was a 2025 Orchid Award Crown of Honor. So this year's theme was Saluting Esteemed Military Women and shine the light on the strength, leadership, and services of women who have worn the uniform and continue to serve their communities. So I was with a bunch of amazing fellow honorees, 6 of us in total, and they had their own impact and advocacy, and I just really enjoyed hearing their stories and sharing the award with them. So certainly really appreciate that. And then in Springfield, we honored the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, April 30th. 1975, the city of Saigon fell to North Vietnamese forces, prompting the largest helicopter evacuation in history as U.S. military personnel and South Vietnamese allies fled in a desperate effort to escape. It was a mass exodus of refugees, many of whom resettled in the United States, including right here in Illinois. And I truly appreciate and I love serving with Representative Hoan Nguyen. He is the first Vietnamese American and the first refugee elected to the Illinois House of Representatives, and his family is one of the families that fled Vietnam. His family had service members that served right alongside our American forces, and they are certainly um, recognizing and appreciating um, what America did to try to liberate Vietnam, although not successful. But they certainly appreciated coming here and being able to rebuild their lives in our country as refugees. And quite a few of them serve uh, and now are in Illinois. And it was great. And last year, there was a couple busloads that came down, and the Vietnam soldiers wore their uniforms, and it was wonderful. So I just encourage everybody to, again, research and reflect on the Vietnam War and the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. So now, quick legislative update. I know we've had a lot of announcements today, but quick legislative update. My bill, House Bill 1362, this is the bill that works to, when we've talked about this before, it's called differential pay. When individuals are in the reserves and they go active duty, they're supposed to get a pay differential, and there was an error in the calculation. So that has now moved on to third reading in the Senate on the way to the governor. House Bill 872. This is a bill, we had some errors on the original bill, so we did an amendment for 872. This is an initiative from the Department of Defense. It allows the state to set up a fund for military service members who are victims of domestic abuse to help them with things such as travel or unknown expenses with regards to being the victim of domestic abuse. Many service members who are here are away from their families and their friends. It also sets up for some guidelines for some pro bono work if that needs to be helped, as well as a couple other things in there. And then I just filed House Joint Resolution 35. I talked about the three resolutions last week, but I apologize that Staff Sergeant Harriet was unintentionally left off last week's update. So it's a tribute to the service and legacy, and he is one of our heroes that we're going to honor. Passed the resolution last year, went to the Senate, did not get picked up with 7. Hopefully, it'll get picked up by the Senate now. Senate Bill 32, I picked it up from the Senate. Just a quick update. We talked about this last week, heading to the House floor for final vote. The bill would have the state petition the federal government to allow veterans who make 200% of the federal poverty level, and that's about $31,000 a year, to receive SNAP benefits. That's up from a current 135% of the poverty level. So giving veterans a little extra bump to help them out. SNAP, again, is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's from the federal government. And then Senate Bill 220 passed out of committee, heading to the House floor. This is giving time off for military honors. We mentioned that last week as well. So those are on their way. The bill that I presented in committee, Senate Bill 1368, talked about that last week. Multi-county veterans assistance. It's allowing counties who are have limited population to be able to combine to coordinate support for veterans, so that we are trying to make sure that the veteran benefit desert, if you want to call it that, where there's no support for veterans, is addressed. Now on the House floor, ready to get passed, potentially going off to the governor. And then Senate Bill 1594, a technical bill, but talks about the emergency medical plan improvements. Just enhances the process in Illinois, making sure we are better prepared for crisis response, again on the House floor, hopefully going off to the governor. So we got some bills on the move. Wanted to give you that update. with regard to that. Now, you might be thinking, what are some other bills? I only talk about my own bills. I understand that, but there's certainly some other bills that are working. One of the bills that's catching some notice is wagering, and what we notice is that, like Dave and Buster's, I like Dave and Buster's, it's fun. However, they're allowing to offer wagering services in its arcades. So it's unregulated gambling. So looking at whether arcades should offer the option to wager on games. And so there's a bill to prevent that. So we are very careful about regulating gambling in Illinois, whether it's on state sports, table games, or video poker. Arcades are a family fun place. Shouldn't be in the business of exposing minors to gambling. So it would prohibit companies from introducing similar games according to the legislation. Dave and Buster's unveiled the option for customers last year, allowing them to wager on various arcade games like Hot Shots, basketball, and skee ball. The functionality is available through the company's app, and really quite concerning. So that's a bill that's being worked on. Senator Cunningham has that bill in the House, and it's House Bill 2724. It passed out of State Executive Committee on Wednesday. And then looking at Senator Fine, who was Representative Fine, looking at the disposable food packaging and the risks, again, to prohibit the sale or distribution of food containers containing polystyrene foam, styrofoam. Certainly there are chemicals in there that aren't very good for the environment. Polystyrene food packaging contains harmful chemicals that can potentially get into the food, and it does not break down naturally in the environment. I know I drop off my styrofoam to on Sullivan Road to Dart Container, but that's the best you can do. And certainly it's concerning with regards to that. Now, there's some opposition to that with regards to the manufacturers and the suppliers that employ workers in Illinois with regards to this ban. So it's turned into other products. So there's some controversy with regards to that bill. And then there's a bill that talks about specific facilities that have an AED on site. These would be hoping to get them into nursing homes, assisted living centers, shared housing, and other places. So that's from Senator Doris Turner. House Bill 1287 passed the Senate Health and Human Services Committee. So these are House bills that went over to the Senate. And then looking at a bill, and this is interesting. So a bill that has treatment known as the 5-needle protocol, or acupuncture acupuncture. And it's supposed to be helpful to curb cravings for people dealing with substance abuse. Now, there's a bill that would allow individuals who aren't licensed acupuncturists to apply the therapy. They would undergo training just for this particular type of acupuncture, and they'd be prohibited from doing acupuncture in other parts of the body. It's opposed by the Illinois Society of Acupuncturists. Representative Jimenez says that she's not advancing the bill. She filed the bill, not advancing the bill, but working to see what they can do to help any way, shape, or form curb addiction and substance abuse. So certainly it's worth looking into. And then, believe it or not, Senator Murphy has a bill passed the House, House Bill 2751, and now she's presenting it in the Senate with unlicensed car sellers, which is very interesting. So this is called curb stoning. Individual sellers draw car shoppers to places like parking lots and side streets, and they sell a volume of used cars without a license. So certainly this is an interesting thing. Vehicle dealers would not be able to park or advertise cars on public streets or highways, public parking lots, or public property. So law enforcement agencies would be allowed to authorize towing services to remove a car if it is displayed for sale with a damaged, destroyed, removed, covered, or altered vehicle identification number. So these are some of the things that we look into, and it would create the Unlicensed Motor Vehicle Dealer Enforcement Task Force to review unlicensed car dealerships. Now, this is not mom and pop if you want to get rid of a car. This is unlicensed car dealership. And actually, this has been an issue from back when I was an alderman, because we used to have rows of cars for sales on the streets in Aurora when I was an alderman in my aldermanic area, and it was very frustrating. Uh, so Senator Laura Murphy's carrying the House bill in the Senate. It looks like it passed the Senate Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. So going to the Senate floor and hopefully going off to the governor's office. Certainly, why are we talking about a lot of bills? This is what we're doing in Springfield. We're doing bills. We have a bill to stop all carbon sequestration over the Mahomet Aquifer. That passed out of the Illinois House Committee last Tuesday. And then we talked about this, and I wanted to bring this up. It was a bill with regards to mascots. And schools are pushing back a little bit about the bill that would ban K through 12 schools from using native names, logos, and mascots unless they have a signed agreement with a Native American tribe. And they're working with the tribe, the Native American individuals. So we had there was an article that I wanted to bring this up. A Native American advocate was speaking out, and he is the advocate and the Pasquadele tribe member Ted Trujillo, and he said that mascots are dehumanizing and pointed out that the depictions are being used by non-native people. And he, quote, said, "They're not native. They stole our identity. They took our customs and traditions and twisted them and mocked them to make them mean whatever they wanted to mean," he stated. Trujillo said that the mascots are offensive and often inaccurate caricatures of Native people, pointing out the commonly depicted severed head of a Native man wearing a feathered headdress. "They're plains headdresses," he said. "They're only used by a handful of tribes out in the Western Plains. They were never used in Illinois by any of the tribes over here." So certainly looking to expand your knowledge and do research with regards to our Native American individuals that live in Illinois, and they have very unique and just start to understand their customs and traditions as they should be, not depicted otherwise. And then I was in committee when I heard this bill. Representative Thaddeus Jones has a bill in committee for insurance companies to cover screening for peripheral artery disease. The disease happens when blood flow is blocked from reaching the foot. Most patients are asymptomatic until it's way too late. Oftentimes, it causes severe health issues which require amputations. And once an amputation happens in the next 5 years, the patient's chance of survival drops to 20%. Representative Jones said in committee he has lost multiple family members from diabetes and hopes that this bill will help reduce unnecessary deaths. It passed out of the House Insurance Committee, heads to the House floor. Certainly some of the bills we have to pass are bills like that. Now, we pass these bills, and these are just insurance companies that operate solely in the state of Illinois. They're not multi-state insurance companies. Those fall under the federal government. Certainly that is really important. And then school districts would soon be required to include suicide prevention contact information on the back of school employee IDs. So Illinois currently requires districts to include this information on identified cards for students in grades 6 through 12. The legislation would ensure teachers and other school staff have the same information readily available. So that's another bill. And then looking at a bill to help with the shortages of specialized healthcare providers. So passing 3 bills, this was Representative Norma Hernandez, updating requirements and removing roadblocks that currently have led many Illinoisans to be underserved. So certainly working with regard to that. And then in the Senate, so this is a House bill that passed the House and is in the Senate. Leader Kimberly Lightfoot is leading the charge to put an end to resident dumping, which I didn't really realize. This is what's so important about having people in state government that are activists that really work for the people. But this is a practice in which a nursing facility discharges a resident and refuses to readmit them after a hospital stay. This is just confounding to me. Where is this resident gonna live? I mean, they lived in their nursing facility, they have to go in the hospital, and then they get discharged, and they're not being readmitted to the place that they lived at. It's called resident dumping. And it really is a betrayal of trust. And you know, we're pretty much at life's most vulnerable moment. Seniors have made their places where they live, their sanctuary, their communities. They've decorated it, they've gotten to live in it, they're comfortable with it, and then they have to go in the hospital, and then they're denied the return. And they strip away all their belongings, and it's just incredible that this is even allowed to happen. So Leader Lightfoot, working with on House Bill 1597, would enhance the involuntary discharge process within these communities if a resident leaves the facility for a medical reason and would not create imminent danger to themselves or others. The facility would be required to let them come back home. Um, so this really affects thousands of nursing facility residents who are uninsured or underinsured, or if they have a mental health condition, or have had to spend time in a hospital or rehab facility, and then they find out they're not allowed back into their nursing home facilities. So it passed out of the committee on last Tuesday. It's a House bill, so it goes to the Senate floor, and hopefully will be off to the governor. So certainly that is a roundup of some of the bills that we are looking at. We're also, looking at some tax incentives, which a tax incentive is kind of a rebate. And one of them is called the Build Illinois Homes Tax Credit, which is a tool that can be used for federal tax credits. So the federal government and the state government working together for the development of affordable homes, and working with the Association for Individual Development, they are looking at these affordable homes for individuals facing developmental, intellectual, physical, and mental health challenges, as well as those who are chronically unhoused and struggle to find homes that they can afford. So working with the Association for Individual Development right here in Kane County, they are looking to have this tax credit, the Build Illinois Homes Tax Credit. It's a bipartisan solution, and it's been adopted in more than 25 other states and would help with housing development. Now, the state does not spend a dime until the developments are completed, so really it minimizes taxpayer risk, and certainly has a public benefit and helps with some private investment to flow into those communities that need it. So certainly working with regards to that, some legislation with regards to the history of the Underground Railroad we looked at. Representative Debbie Myers Martin has been a great champion of that. So a lot of bills coming, but just wanted to give you an update. Of course, it's bill heavy. Because that's what we're doing right now, passing bills. That's pretty much what we're looking at with regards to the state of Illinois. And that's the work that we're working on right now. So giving you that update. So with regards to that, then just gonna leave you off with a couple more updates. In case you didn't know, Real ID enforcement begins May 7th. So you have 2 days for the real ID. Now, if you do not have a real ID and you are flying, this is where you need it. You need to have a passport then. And you need to have, that's it, passport or real ID. That's all you need. So, they'll be enforcing real ID requirements at airport security checkpoints. So make an appointment with your DMV, and get your real ID compliant driver's license. You'll need to go on the website for Secretary of State to find out everything you need to bring for the real ID, but things such as passport, permanent resident card, all sorts of alternative forms of identification you will need to get your real ID. We are in the budget process. So in the budget process, we're looking at a lot of numbers. We did have some estimate from COGFA that increased revenue forecasts a bit, but still below what Governor Pritzker's estimate is. We're looking at the difference. There are some programs with regards to revenue that the governor wants to put into place. One of them is called the debt forgiveness program. So, what that means is if you didn't pay your taxes and then there's a fee, so you kind of have this debt, we're going to forgive the fee and then we tell you just to file your taxes. So, certainly that does bring in revenue. It has minimal cost to the state because we haven't gotten those taxes to begin with. But looking at the numbers, still looking at the numbers, and one of the things is a program for prepping with regards to tests. So if you have a test that college students prep tests for college students, so we're going to provide free college and career test prep for students in public universities and some community colleges. Over 200 students have enrolled in this, and that saves them a ton of money. So certainly there is a cost, and we are looking at putting some funding for the program in the budget. Certainly, it helps out with college access, workforce development, and it is a win-win. And then still debating, talking about community colleges to offer 4-year bachelor degrees in high demand fields. Listening to everybody's viewpoints on that, community colleges, traditional universities. And so that is, of course, getting debated right now. Don't know if there's going to be a bill this year or not. I know the governor is hoping for that, but not quite sure. And then here in Illinois, you might know somebody who works for the VA, but there are certainly concerns about the federal cuts that will eliminate up to 80,000 VA jobs. The layoffs will not help our veterans, particularly in like rural areas like Danville, where the potential loss of 400 VA jobs could devastate the local economy and the services for our veterans. There was a gathering across the state, including at the McHenry County VA clinic, to protest the proposed federal cuts that would have these jobs lost. So I'm concerned. I stand in strong solidarity with my fellow veterans in raising the concerns about these cuts. They just expanded benefits with the PACT Act and then expect the workforce to be below 2019 levels, which was way before the PACT Act was instituted. And then those that are veterans understand that there are still long wait times and there are still issues with the process right now that not going to get any better with lack of people. So certainly we need to keep being vocal about making sure that our veterans and my fellow veterans are being taken care of. So watching that, keeping that on the radar, concerned about that. And then a couple local things, if you didn't hear about it in the newspaper, If you go to Hollywood Casino, Aurora, and you don't want to go to gamble, you can go and get a new burger concept at Hollywood Casino. Celebrity chef Stephanie Izzard brings her food to Aurora Hollywood Casino. She's a Top Chef winner. Her concept, Lucky Goat, will serve up specialty burgers, fries, milkshakes alongside favorites like the antique taco and pretty cool ice cream. So the Boulevard Food and Drink Hall offers vibrant family-friendly dining, and that experience is when the new casino is open. So as part of the celebration, Hollywood Casino is hosting a Taste of Hollywood giveaway, free samples, merch, and chances to win across Chicago locations. So, yeah, get a quick test, taste it out, and if you haven't driven down there, the building's going up pretty quickly right there off the expressway. So the doors will officially open in 2026. I represent Aurora, Naperville, Oswego, and Montgomery. And Naperville was named the best place to live in America by Niche. Number one, for the second year in a row. So Naperville's population has more than doubled since the 1990s. It's a vibrant community, top-rated school, thriving local businesses. So Nietzsche awarded Naperville an A+ rating, giving it high marks for all those categories. And so if you grab a coffee downtown, cheering the high school game, Naperville is a place they want to be. One of America's best places to live. Now, this is, of course, Nietzsche magazine. There's others that came out, I know, a while back. Aurora was one of the best places to live. So certainly, they all have different criterias, but our area overall, all four counties, and then up and down the Fox River and out here in the western suburbs are pretty good places. And so I wouldn't take it any other way. And then PM Music Center has a brand new showroom. So if you haven't been to the Fox Valley Mall, Mariachi Mercado is a new place. So designed for Chicagoland's mariachi musicians, educators, and enthusiasts. The showroom offers specialty instruments, accessories, and repair services tailored to this musical craft. The grand opening has taken place on April 26th, and they had live music, and so certainly go check it out. I just think it's going to be interesting. And then, other than that, biking safety plans. So, looking for new funding for bike infrastructure, and it was temporarily paused due to the recent executive orders, but we're hoping to get forward on that. So, in our counties, including Kane, we're developing independent safety action plans aimed at eliminating traffic fatalities, serious injuries. It's planned to ensure the progress towards more safer, bike-friendly communities. I know I've written letters of support for a major project, a multi-million-dollar project in Aurora for Route 34, Ogden Avenue, for pedestrian safeties. So we are still looking with regards to that. Kane County Fair awards 4-H scholarships to our local students. So Samuel Hebeland of Elgin and Autumn Keigel of Hampshire, not really in our area, but still good for you to know that the Kane County Fair boards $3,000 scholarships. So they are astounding 4-H students in their community. And then Ride for Hope kicks off motorcycle season with a blessing event. Motorcycle Awareness Month is May. So certainly keep your eyes out for motorcycles. Let's all share the road. We talked about that, I believe, last week, but bears repeating. So there's a Ride for Hope fundraising ride on June 1st, supporting mental health and suicide prevention efforts. So certainly if participate, you can look that up on the internet. So that is my update. We had a lot to talk about this Monday morning, and certainly I hope you found it informative. And I know talked a little bit about bills, but we got a lot of bills flying around. Bills from the House to the Senate, bills from the Senate to the House. So certainly let me know if my office can be of any assistance. If you're going to the museum, you can get your museum pass. Call the office, talk to Michelle. She can help you out with that. So with that, have a great Monday. Certainly have a good and safe Cinco de Mayo. And I will be traveling to Springfield tomorrow. So we will be hopefully passing more bills. So take care, everybody. Have a great day and be safe. And COVID's still out there. So be safe about that and take care.